everybody. I want to say hi and welcome to my live cooking demonstration. Can you hear it in the other room? Okay. Okay. So we're going to do our salmon spirals today, and I'm really excited because these are from my cookbook, Beautifully Delicious Cooking with Herbs and Edible Flowers. So it's a really nice thing. I'm excited to be able to share this with you. So I just want to introduce myself before we get started. I'm Liz Barber, and my company is The Creative Feast. And welcome to my kitchen. You're going to see me working in here periodically. I'm going to try to do more of my live feed, so you have the opportunity to cook with me. You can just watch for fun if you want. Definitely let me know at the end of the video if there are certain things you want to learn how to cook, because I want to make sure we cover it all. I'm going to try to keep these videos relatively short, but there may be some classes that we want to spend a little bit more time on. So it's up to you. You tell me what you need, what you want, and I'm happy to do it. Today I'm going to be preparing, as I mentioned, the salmon spirals with a Dijon mustard and dill sauce. The recipe is on my website at thecreativefeast.com, so you definitely should go there. You've got the recipe there and lots of more information that's available to you. So we're going to get started. Now, I have made this recipe already today so that at the end I'll get to show you how everything is. And a couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, let's just talk about the salmon. Now, this is a wild salmon that I got at Costco. And like many of you, I had to pre-buy a lot of my food and stick it in the freezer so that I could use it for later. So that's what this is. This is a side of salmon that I got there, and then I froze it. I thawed it out. And yes, there was a little bit of water in there, and the texture might not be exactly as it would be fresh, but we're going to cook this up. We're going to cover it up. It's going to be delicious. So I don't want you to worry about freezing fish, for example, as long as you make sure that it's packed well so that you don't get any freezer burn on it. So here is the side of salmon. Now, I'm going to show you a really fun way to do this dish, in that we're going to create those spirals that you may have seen in the pictures that I was kind of teasing this episode with. Now, let me just reassure you, you do not have to do that. You can simply take the salmon and cut it into fillets, put the topping on, pop it in the oven, and finish it with a sauce. It's that simple. But I thought, let's just show something different. And it's so easy, okay? So let's, I see a lot of people are saying hello. Hello to my cousin Jill, my husband Ted, upstairs doing some work. Teresa, thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to come today. And feel free to ask some questions. I'll be looking over here at my monitor so I can answer as we go along. Now, this salmon, oftentimes you'll get salmon and it has the skin on it. So if you are not somebody who likes to eat the skin, I always eat the skin. I leave it on and I eat it. But you can have the person at the fish counter remove the skin for you if you'd like, or you can do it yourself. Now, the reason I'm doing it myself, one of the main reasons is I love the skin. The other day we did this, and I skinned the fish. I took that skin, I cut it into strips. I put it in a bowl with about a half a cup of salt and let it sit for about 15 minutes so it would get rid of some of the excess water. Then I rinsed them off, patted them dry, let them sit out for about 10 minutes to make sure they were nice and dry, and then I popped them in my air fryer, and we ate them like potato chips. It was delicious. So maybe that's for you. If so, then you want to skin the salmon yourself. Now, here I have my chef's knife. This is an 8-inch chef's knife. I can use it for almost anything. If this is all you have, go ahead and use this. You want to make sure it's as sharp as possible, so I'm just going to bring a quick edge to my chef's knife. A couple of nice strokes to bring that edge, so you can use the chef knife if you like. Now the other knife that you can use, which is a knife that I have had for years, and I do recommend it, it's called a slicing knife. So you see how nice and long it is, and it's super thin. So you can use this when you're cutting your Thanksgiving turkey. It cuts, if you're cutting fish and you want it to be nice and thin, you can use this. So we're going to take this. Hey Sherry, hello. Hi Lori, nice to see that you're here. What else? Maureen, hey Maureen, my favorite caterer. Leave it to me catering. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing the tail end of the salmon. I'm going to go ahead and just cut just lightly into the skin so that I have the, into the flesh, just so I have the skin just barely showing. Now, here's the key. Do you notice that I'm holding this with a towel? You don't want the salmon to slip out of your hands. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put my knife at an angle, and I'm actually, do you see this? I'm pulling the skin, here it is here, and I'm wiggling it back and forth while giving some pressure to the knife that is staying underneath the flesh, and it's going right between the flesh and the skin. Voila. Okay, there's the skin right there. Again, as I told you, I'm going to slice this up. I'm going to salt it for about 15 minutes or so, rinse it off, dry it, and stick it in my air fryer. You could stick it under your broiler if you wanted, or in a 450-degree oven to cook, and it'll get beautifully crispy. Hey, Katie, how are you? Hi, Tania. Ooh, this is not smoked salmon. This is wild salmon. And here's the thing. You see how rich and dark that is? This is the natural color of a wild salmon. The difference between this and a farm salmon is the farm salmon actually is fed with pellets that have a coloring in them to give them this color. All right, so if you're questioning, should I go farmed or fresh? That's something to take in consideration and read up on, because they are feeding the farmed salmon something to color the flesh, so it's this beautiful natural color of a fresh salmon. So here we're going to go ahead now. Again, as I told you, with this recipe, go ahead and cut it into fillets if you want. All right, make it easy and simple on yourself. But I wanted to show you something a little bit different. We're going to do the spirals. So when you buy your fish, you are going to buy a full side. All right, that's what you're going to go ask for. And I'll tell you something. When I go to the fish counter at the grocery store, if I don't like what I see, I ask them to go in the back and bring me out something fresh. And when I buy a side of salmon, they have to do that. So even if you're not going to eat all of it, you could spiralize these and stick them in the freezer. And then the next time you want to have salmon, you pull those out and they're all set to go. So here we take our knife and we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut our salmon into nice thin strips. Okay? About 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now, the end result, the size of your spirals, will largely depend on how large is your side of salmon. Now, if you're going to use a farm salmon, and I eat farm salmon all the time, you will notice that it comes in very different lengths depending on how big the fish is, and oftentimes very different widths. So if it's really, really thin on this end, I might cut that off and use those pieces to stick in later. All right, so something you can be working on. All right, so here I'm cutting this into these strips. Okay, and I've got about 3 going here right now. I'm going to go with the 4th. Now you see, obviously, these strips are going to get smaller and smaller each time. So these guys are going to be my fillers. All right, now I take my first strip. All right, this is kind of small, so I'll use that as a filler also. So here it is. We've got our strips done. Okay, and now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to spiral it on itself like that. Now, there's one portion Do you have some big eaters? You want to have larger portions? Here's how we could add more. I'm going to take this little bit of a strip, I'm going to weave it into the inside and wrap it like that. And there we go. Now we've made that larger. Now, if you're somebody that, you know, you're serving dinner and you want all the portions to be exact, say you're Maureen, who's got her own catering company, and she wants to serve this. She wants her portions to be the same. She wants them to be easy and beautiful to put on. This is the perfect kind of presentation for you. And again, you saw how easy it is. Your fish person can skin it for you. You can just come home, cut it in the strips, roll it onto them, each other, and you're all set to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my my toothpicks. These are large, like I think these are like 8-inch skewers. Okay, so one skewer will hold this. If you're not feeling like that's enough, go ahead and stick it in another spot. Okay, so we're going to set that in our pan again, rolling it right on itself. Now, if you guys have any questions as I'm going along, let me know, because I will take a little bit of a breather and I will answer your questions. So don't hesitate to put out some questions. All right, now this one is a little bit ratty, looking a little raggedy. So you can press it down, and remember this, we're covering this with herbs, we're covering this with a Dijon mustard, and then we're gonna finish it with a sauce. So I don't want you to get too worried about, oh, it doesn't look as perfect as it should. It will look beautiful in the end, I promise you. Besides, people are going to be so impressed that you did just spiralize these. It'll be pretty impressive that way. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and continue rolling. All right, and I take my skewer and pop that in. And then the final piece, again, this one's a little bit small, but I want to use it all. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start that rolling. And then I can take this other small piece and weave it in. You'll never know that it's a separate piece. Whoops. Turn it so that the skin faces inside, the skin side faces inside, so it'll stay pretty around the edge. And there you go. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and skewer this from end to end, and that'll hold together. Now, why am I skewering it? Well, in the cooking, it could open up, so you want to avoid that. And then finally, what we're going to do is go ahead and do the last one, and this will be just a taster for me. All right, done. So here we have 5 of our spiralized salmon. We're not finished yet, but just to give you an idea. And again, that was a small piece of salmon. So if I hadn't cut off a piece to fillet earlier, you would have had 5 good solid pieces. And I think that was probably about a 2-pound fillet. All right, now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of the recipe. And so here's a little trick for you. If you're working with your cutting board and it's kind of sliding around on your cooking surface, put a placemat underneath and that will hold it in place. Now, I want you to notice that I did use a good sized cutting board. You're going to need that. You should always have one of these this large on hand. Now, rather than wash this, I'm just going to flip it over. I'm all set to go for my next part of the dish. Up, and we have, we're going to make a sauce. Let me just get my herbs from the refrigerator. So we're going to make a sauce, but we're also going to cover our salmon in herbs and Dijon mustard. So here we have our Dijon mustard, and I use Grey Poupon. You could buy it in the jar, or you can buy it, you know, in this squeeze bottle, whatever works for you. And you're going to put just a little bit on your salmon, about a teaspoon's worth. So if you are going to, if you have the jar of salmon, I'm sorry, the jar of the mustard, put mustard in a little bowl so that you're not sticking your spoon back in every time you put it onto the salmon. This is a little squirt bottle, which is nice. So we're going to add that. Okay. And then I just take a spoon and just rub it all on top. Coat that. If you love Dijon mustard, do plenty of it. It is salted, but I do suggest that you add a little bit of salt and pepper. I always season anyway. You don't need to do too much. Okay, so now we have this smeared with our Dijon. I'm going to take a little bit of salt and pepper here, just a little. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop up some dill. Now, we're going to make a cream sauce to go on this, but I want to go ahead and cut up enough dill to sprinkle on these guys and to put into my cream sauce. So we're going to go ahead and just take a good amount off here. I have measurements for you on the recipe, but once you get confident working with herbs, you can really kind of eyeball it, decide how much do I like dill. You don't like dill? That's fine. Use parsley, or go ahead and use some basil if you like. We're going to head into herb seasons. So if you have celery leaves, go ahead and add those. There are so many different types of herbs that you can use for this. So we're going to give this a really quick chop. I was thinking of doing a couple of knife skills videos, so if that's something that interests you, definitely let me know. I definitely want to do an Instant Pot class, a couple of those, a couple of air fryer classes, so please let me know. So, hi Evelyn, I'm glad you love the salmon. I hope you're going to like this. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and sprinkle this right on top. Easy. Okay, this part is done. All right, so these guys will go right into your oven. If you have an air fryer, perfect. Go ahead and put these in your air fryer. I think they take about 7 to 8 minutes. It depends on the density, how dense they are, how big they are. You do want to give them a little bit of poke. They'll have a little bit of a give back when you poke into them, and then you'll know they're done. They should be firm, but not too firm so that they're dried out. All right, so yeah, Kristen says she wants a knife demo, and I know she went shopping because she asked me what kind of salmon to buy, so there you go. So it looks like a lot of people are interested in the Instant Pot and in the knife demo, so I'm really happy to hear that because I got a lot of them. We can do a lot of different things. Especially at this time, I was thinking of doing kind of a pantry class because we're trying to go to the grocery store as little as possible. So what can you buy? What should you have plenty of? We could talk about that. It'd be an opportunity for people to get together. Maybe we could do a Zoom live stream where we can just talk about the pantry. So we'll see all the possibilities are open and available, and I'm really excited to be doing this for you. Okay, so this goes in the oven, right? Now we're going to go ahead and make our sauce. So in here already I have Greek yogurt. You could do regular yogurt if you want. I like the richness of the Greek yogurt. That's why I'm using it. If you're not a yogurt fan, use sour cream. Lately I have been, I don't know what it is about sour cream. I've been going crazy on it. Always, always, always use full fat. We want to get rid of any kind of a low-fat dairy product. We want to be using full fat to fill us up and give us that feeling of satiety that we're really craving. Oh, a pantry class. Okay, yes, that's what I mentioned, so we'll definitely do that. Okay, then the next ingredient we have is mayonnaise. Now, I have been focusing on low carb cooking for a while. A lot of you people know that. You can go to my website. I now have added to my recipe page low carb information. intermittent fasting. If you're interested, you can join my intermittent fasting Facebook group, which is called Live Free and Fast. So there's lots of information there. But what I have been trying to help people understand is that what we want to do is get rid of these industrialized seed oils. So why am I holding up my mayonnaise, my Sir Kensington's avocado mayonnaise? Because it's one of the only mayonnaise products out there that is not made with soybean oil or canola oil. Okay, so that's what you want to be looking for. Look on the ingredients and find out, does it have one of these seed oils in it? We want to avoid that. This is all avocado oil. I would love it if you would make your own mayonnaise, and maybe I'll do a program on that because that's super easy. That would be part of my pantry program. But I just wanted to show this to you, something you can get. I get this at Costco. You can get it. I know Market Basket carries it. So anyway, so that's our mayonnaise. So we're going to add that to our sour cream and our dill. All right. And we're going to keep the Dijon theme going by adding some Dijon mustard into this. Hey Lisa, I see you're here. I'm so glad you're here. I've got lots of friends joining. Oh, Paul. Okay, so Paul is here. He is from nursery school, I think. We went to nursery school together. Oh, and there's Paula Snyder. Same thing, nursery school, preschool. These are people from my young days. So, okay, now we have lemon zest. So you have your zester, and we're going to zest that right in. Now I'm making this right in this plastic container because I know it's myself, my son Jack, and my husband Ted are home. We're not going to consume all of this sauce in one sitting. So why not just make it in this container, and then I'll go ahead and pop it in the fridge when I'm done. What else can I do with this sauce? This is a great spread for sandwiches. You can put it right on top of chicken. It would be delicious. Any kind of seafood. You could toss it with pasta and make a pasta salad if you like. You can make a vegetable salad. This could be a dressing. Add vinaigrette to this, and this is a perfect dressing for you. For a creamy dressing that you made all by yourself. It's wonderful. All right, and then the last thing, the recipe calls for mint, which I didn't have today, but go ahead and put it in or not, whatever works for you. And then scallions. So I wanted to show you this. These are my kitchen scrap garden scallions. So when you buy scallions in the grocery store, they have the roots. So I just stuck the roots in water, and now I've been growing my scallions. So we're gonna go ahead and cut those up. So I'm just gonna cut them right off the top, and they'll continue to grow. I've had these growing for about 2.5 weeks. All right, and then we're gonna chop this up. All right, and that goes right in there, and there's our sauce. Super easy. Okay, beautiful herb sauce. Like I said, there are so many different uses for this. Do you like egg salad sandwich? Put it in your egg salad sandwich. It'll be the best egg salad sandwich you ever had. Okay, let's see. Oh, Elsa. Ted says, Elsa's paying close attention. Yes, that's our dog, Elsa. Okay, now I want to head over to the stove, and we're going to be doing something different. Hold on one sec, Jack. So here's the thing. I typically will serve this with a pasta, but I told you I'm going low carb. So finding alternatives to pasta is something that I think is important because I love pasta. So what I've discovered are these shirataki noodles, okay? Now, I did create a information posting on my Facebook page with the recipes so you can get all the information on shirataki noodles. They are a yam-based product, a soy-based product. You'll find it in the refrigerator section at the grocery store where the tofu products are found. All I've done is rinse it underwater because when you open it, it has kind of almost like a fishy smell to it, so I don't want you to panic when you open it and think it's gone bad. It is just the odor that this particular product has. Rinse it away. It's not a problem, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go over to the stove and we're going to get these cooking. All right, so what I'm doing here now is I'm going to do what's called dry frying. So I'm just going to turn that a little. So what does that mean? So what I want you to see here in this bowl, this is the my strainer. These are the shirataki noodles. Can you see all that water in there? This has been sitting here for a couple of hours and it has drained off some more water. You don't have to drain them for a couple hours, just for a few, just for a minute or so. What I want to do is, because I'm using these in place of a pasta, right, I want them to be drier. However, if you were making an Asian noodle bowl, right, with soup or serving it with a broth, you don't need to dry fry. What I'm doing is I am dry frying so that the water evaporates. You'll see a lot of steam coming off, and it helps with the texture of my noodles. So that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm letting my pan get hot. There is no oil, no fat of any kind in the pan, hence the name dry fry. So we're going to let this get hot. You do not have to use a non-stick pan. You can use your stainless steel pan, no problem, all right? So let's just see, can we hear this? Is this, okay, it's ready. You can hear the sizzle. Now this is 2 packages of shirataki noodles. Now, why not use pasta? As I mentioned, we're going low carb. Now here's the thing I want you to know about this. This is 2 packages. In all of the 2 packages, there are 12 grams of carbohydrates, all right? Each package is 8 ounces. Now, if I had a cup of cooked pasta, 46 grams of carbs, all right? That's a huge difference, and you'll be paying the price later if you continue to eat pasta all the time. So we want to find times where maybe I don't need the pasta. Now, am I making my favorite traditional bolognese served over this? Maybe that I want to save for pasta, right? I want to have real pasta for that. But this is going to be a side dish that, I'm going to season up, but it doesn't have to have that real mouth feel, that the pasta has to have. Do you know what I'm saying? So make exceptions. This is my exception. Now you can see that it is steaming off some of the water here. You can do this 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how much you want to get out of there. It will simply help to dry off the pasta, and that's why we're doing that. So I'm going to let that go. And then back here, I'll do another demo with vegetable side dishes, but I just wanted to have something on the plate. So this is a cream sauce or cheese sauce that I made, and it's got heavy cream in it. It's got cream cheese and then some Jarlsberg cheese in there. And then I'm going to just put this over some broccoli that I had already steamed. I use frozen broccoli all the time, and that's what I did for this. I know, again, a lot of you are probably going through the freezer saying, what kind of vegetables and things do I have? And I think we all know that nothing tastes better than something that has a nice cheese sauce poured over it. So this is a great low-carb option for you, and it will make those veggies taste delicious. So we're going to go ahead and let that melt, and then we'll put it on top of our veggies. All right? So this is pretty much done. Again, the whole point of this is just to steam off the water. So now this has a nice firm texture. It's much drier than it was before. All right? So Jack, we're going to move over back to our original spot. I'm very lucky I have my young cameraman here coming with me. Okay, so let's go ahead and serve this up. So I've already gone ahead and I've already plated this for you. So my shirataki noodles around the edge. How do I flavor them up? Well, I don't know. Let's do a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Okay. And like with anything else, we'll do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Beautiful. All right. And we're going to go ahead and get our cheese sauce. Let me just pull that over. All right. Beautiful. Going to go ahead and drizzle that. You can drizzle it over your shirataki noodles too. Who wouldn't like that? Beautiful. And then finally, remember I told you that I went ahead and pre-cooked. So this is the salmon fillet. It's got all of that yummy stuff, the Dijon and the dill on top. Gonna go ahead, put that right in the middle. Okay. And then we'll take our cream sauce right on top. And we are all set. So here we have, not spirals, but here's our Dijon salmon with dill. We've got our Dijon cream sauce on top, our shirataki noodles. You can find that information on my website, both of those recipes, and then the broccoli with the cheese sauce. And we'll do that another time, okay? So I want to thank you all for coming. I'm going to do what Julia Childs does. Pour myself a glass of wine. Today, I'm drinking a La Crema Chardonnay, and I'll have a little taste. And I want to thank you all for coming. If you want to see more of the videos, I want to know what it is you want to hear. Wait, do you want to take a minute and have me answer some questions? All right, I've got a glass of wine. What kind of questions? Would you do the same for zucchini noodles? Yes, I would. But here, Maureen, I want to give you a little tip about zucchini noodles. Don't buy them from the grocery store already done if you have a spiralizer at home. Because the ones at the grocery store, I believe that they have some kind of a chemical on them to keep them preserved. And if you don't buy them on the day they bring them in, they're like mush and they start to taste really sour. When you spiralize your zucchini noodles at home, you can make them thicker. Now, when you make them thicker, they're a very wet vegetable. The thicker they are, the less mushy they'll get when they cook, okay? So yes, definitely zucchini noodles. Hi, Joanne, my friend Joanne from up north. My Aunt Peggy is on, and she couldn't figure out how to say hi. Well, hello, Peggy. It's been a long time since I've seen you guys. I hope you're doing well, and I miss you all. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Marie. Teresa, thank you, and enjoy. I will enjoy my wine. Teresa, thank you so much. Thank you, Donna. I'm so glad you could come. And Patty Sullivan, she's one of my favorite kindergarten friends from long ago. What would you do if you can't eat dairy? Okay, so for the cream sauce, I think I would stick with mayonnaise. Make your own, because sometimes the mayonnaise that you buy has too much vinegar in it, and that could be too overwhelming. But you didn't even have to put a sauce on it if you didn't want to. We could, when I go to make a hollandaise sauce, I can show you how to do that. Or mayonnaise, a real mayonnaise doesn't have dairy in it, so that would be fine. For the cheese sauce, well, you just wouldn't use a cheese sauce. We would do something else for you. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Oh, good, Maureen. I'm glad you spiral yourself. And I do all kinds of vegetables. We'll do a spiralizer class. We could do that. That would be great. I think you'd like it. All right. Yes, Yes, Teresa, we need a new book. So this time may be a little bit longer than I expected. So I'm getting myself online. That's number one. Number two is I am working on a low-carb cookbook. So we will try to get that out as soon as we can. And with that, I want to thank you all for coming. Oh, and by the way, I'm breaking my 24-hour fast. That was the first sip. So I'm glad you were here to enjoy it. Thanks. Hello to everyone from the Bakers. Hello, Baker family. Love you all. Thank you so much for coming. Hit that. Down, down, down.